Are you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hi friends, Leah and I wanted to fill you in on a few exciting offers and updates before we dive into this riveting episode that we know will provide you with real value to honoring your unique expression of self. The first one is completely free. We created a free guide to honoring your strategy and authority. These are tips and tricks to help you align to your internal guidance system. All of our vehicles do not make decisions the same, and the first step to understanding your design is understanding your unique voice from within to really honor your strategy and authority. Please go to our homepage on our website and pick up your free guide, and we will provide you with all the links in our description below for everything we are about to share with you. Our next offer is a PDF workbook called Your User Manual to Your True Self. And this helps you to understanding the language behind human design and to also understand how to read your chart as well as others. It is a basic to intermediate guide that you can purchase, and you will be able to receive our workbook that you can either follow along on your phone or computer for your convenience, or print it out and use your body graph that we have created and fill in your chart. This comes with the key terms that will navigate your journey, as well as images so you can see a clear picture of how it will look on your chart and where to find these aspects in your design. We created this because we know there's so much information out there on the internet, as well as in other books and courses, and we wanted to put together everything simplified in one form for you. Let us know how you are enjoying this material, and we look forward to our live Zoom class on how to read your chart in 2022. And after you have gone through the basics, if you are ready for the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of your chart, feel free to book a reading with Leah or myself to go into the depths of who you are. We both offer a variety of readings that are over Zoom and a few other ways to work with us. So feel free to check out each of our individual websites. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to DM one of us. We also just launched our first mini class and bundle on determination, which this class is connected to your digestion and human design. We each have a unique way in which we all eat, and it's time to look at our past patterns and behaviors to help you get there. Check out the class. It's about a 20-minute audio, and it comes with a PDF workbook and guidebook to help you integrate your determination. Our next class will be on cognition, your super sense and your strongest clair that helps you come back to your body so you can make the best decisions that's in a more aligned way. And we will be giving away, get ready for this, one free group human design Zoom session that will soon be a part of our subscription service called Human Design and Support. And if you purchase within the first 3 days of when we launch our cognition class, so please make sure you're on our email list and also check out our website for the exact date we are launching, which is going to most likely be, you know what, you'll find out. Go to our website. So this is all super exciting, these new opportunities that we have created. And we also have one last one that is a personalized transit update for each aura type that you will be receiving through our email list. So this is a brand new thing that we just put out for our members of our community. So again, if you are not subscribed to our email list, this is the perfect time to get on it. We have a lot of goodies in store for you, and thank you for listening to this introduction, and enjoy the rest of the show, and I will see you on the next one. Hello, everyone. I don't know why I had to sing that, but I did. Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Welcome to the program. The program is a weekly transit update that we go through. Well, I start off with the transits through astrology and mostly human design. And then we allow AJ to channel whatever messages come through for you, AJ. A lot of stuff about the moon. You know, as if you've been following AJ, you know that they love the moon the more than probably life. I don't know. Is that true?
Well, I think I've named how many animals, and I wanted to name children after the moon, and so it just
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
It's a top, it's in the
okay.
top. It's in the top category.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll finish it off with Leah pulling some tarot cards for us. So I wanted to start off talking about what all of our experiences are with this new moon solar eclipse. I'm a Sagittarius sun, so I might have had maybe a little bit more of an experience. I guess we'll see what the two of you come up with. But I wanted to talk about it because so Friday, I started feeling like a lot of like pressure in my body. It started off as, and it was like all of the pain that I had been experiencing in my body through my accident that happened in 2010. Those of you that didn't know, I was hit by a car on my bike in 2010. I almost died. I was saved by an angel. If you didn't hear the story, I'll repeat it on another day, not today. But anywho, so since then, I've been like battling, struggling, dealing with body issues, and it goes on and off. And I had started going to like almost like a wellness center that does chiropractic work, does dry needling, and also physical therapy. And I actually just completed that program. So I was like feeling good. And then all of a sudden Friday comes along and it was like, bam. And it's like all of the pain that you thought you were like getting rid of, it's back with a vengeance. I even had to tell Leah on Saturday, I'm like, I'm sorry, I told you I was going to do some stuff with work and I couldn't even go downstairs to get my laptop. That's how much pain I was in. And so Saturday I woke up and I did this like quantum leaping meditation. I had done varieties of them since like, I think my first one was in 2018. And I had like manifested this like big hair gig in South Beach from that experience. And maybe I'll explain it tomorrow in my stories. So I decided, you know what? We're in a solar eclipse. I'm a Sagittarius sun. It's the new moon. We're going to quantum leap. Why not?
Heck, why not?
So after that experience I had there, my body, like 50% of the pain that I had been feeling went away after I did that. And it was like, I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw a different person. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening here, but let's keep going. So then I was like, I'm going to open up the Akashic records, and I talked to them for a while. And then I got this message of like, they wanted me to ask them for help with my shoulder pain. And I said, would you be able to help like fix whatever? Like, I'm like, there's some like deep stuff in my shoulder pain, like trauma patterns that are stuck there. And I'm like, can you help me release them? And they're like, we have tried to do that for you a few times and you've literally stopped us because it's like a scary feeling. And so since you're inviting us again, like we definitely want to do that. So later on that day, I was in the car and luckily I wasn't driving. Just I want to preface, I was not driving.
That's good. I'm glad it's not that kind of story. I don't want that kind of story right now.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah.
It was
Okay.
So basically what happened was I got in the car, we started driving, and all of a sudden I started feeling like this sensation that was like almost like this slow moving pressure that started happening in my body and like in that specific area of my shoulder.
And they're like, it's us. They're like, we want to let you know that we're here and we're working on your shoulder right now in this moment. And what we want you to do is we want you to, one, allow us to move this energy through you. And we want you to take a lot of deep inhales through the nose. Since I'm smell cognition, they're like, your breath is what's going to actually help guide us to release these blocks. And we also want you to allow your body to move with the car. Because, because we live in the mountains. So there's a lot of like swaying and moving happening when you're in the car. When we're riding around here, there's a lot of turns and twists and turns. But like, we want you to move your body with the car. And we want you to be taking these deep inhales. I'm like, if only luckily my husband's like right-brained and he's like literally like not paying attention to anything that I'm doing. And so I'm just like doing all this stuff, and all of a sudden, like some really like deep pain started like just bursting. It was like the craziest sensations. I had parts of my spine and like my vertebrae like realigning itself. There was like shifts and movements like happening from like my spinal column that were like moving in and out of place. And they told me that this was like deep ancestral trauma that was trapped in my body, that was brought over from past lifetimes that I did not allow to move through me, that I like almost kept layering more stuff on top of, to the point of now it's just like so condensed in that one spot. And I'm like basically holding other people's grief and other people's weight on my shoulders as my own. So a lot of messages and a lot of weird body things. They're still working on it right now, but I've had just a lot of release and relief.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I had the same, not the same experience, but I felt like, and I recorded a video this morning about it actually. I felt like all this weight, like hundreds of pounds taken off of my chest and my shoulders. Like I've had frozen shoulder for the last like a year and a half. Like I couldn't lift my, you know what I mean? And look, you guys, like they're doing so good. I know. Like I wish that everyone could see how amazing it is for me. Cause like I was such limited mobility that it was like scary, you know? So I signed up for that yoga teacher training, right? So I've been doing all this work and stuff and opening up and you know what I mean? And like just doing all the shadow work anyways, you know? And so then I woke up right as the eclipse was happening.
Oh, wow.
So right after, you know what I mean? And so then I woke up and was like, oh, wow. Okay. So then I was like, I thought it was more, like the next morning, and it was like 12 something here. And I was like, oh my God, okay, what's going on here? And like, it's not, go back to sleep. But I woke up like ready, thinking like I had slept for 8 hours or something. Yeah. And so then I woke up the next morning and I noticed like, whoa, like everything just feels so much lighter. I feel like we left this place of like feeling like we had to have responsibility for everything. Yeah. Like it's so weird. Everything you were saying about like having to like hold the space for people, like I felt like that. Yeah, it was exactly that.
Also very defined heart too. We feel like we have to take responsibility for other people because the open, undefined hearts have a little bit of trouble with that. And Leah and I are actually going to record an episode
Good.
on all of that in the heart. It's going to be called Heart to Heart.
Nice.
With us. And since we're going into Venus retrograde, I think this would be a great time to talk about the heart, because Venus is deeply connected to that space. So
yeah.
But keep going. What else do you have? Anything else with that?
Well, I just really feel like it was like huge. Like I felt like it was a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Like I felt like things shifted. Like I'm excited again. Like I'm singing again and like dancing and like feeling like really light, you know? And I had an experience. This is so weird. Okay. So I was telling my friend, because we were going for a walk and we were sitting in the car. I had just opened the door, so the lights were on in the car, right? And we're sitting in this like place where there's a light shining, like a street light, right? And so we're sitting there. I'm just like, dude, no one sees me anymore. Like, I swear, I could walk into a place and like no one would even freaking notice me right now. Like, no one, right? And then I go, well, I guess that could be my perception. Right when I say perception, and I had just been talking earlier about how I want signs from the universe to like let me know that I'm on the right path and that everything's going right, because it's like, I feel like it is, but I just want a little bit of confirmation. Literally, I say perception, and this guy walks by and he like looks right at me, like in my eyes, like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, we're downtown. Like, people don't like, I mean, people do, but like sitting in a car and he's like, hey guys, like, what? Like, did he think he knew me? I don't know. Maybe he thought I was one of his friends. It didn't matter, because I was like, I looked at my friend looked at me, and we were both like, oh, no way. Like, that's a sign right there.
He was a messenger for you.
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, well, that could have been, just a coincidence. Like, the light came on and we probably surprised him and he was already looking in here because he saw movement or something. And he just happened to look at me when, you know what I mean? And so then we're walking, and then later, like up the road, and then he comes walking right towards us and is like walking the other way, and he's like, hey, at me again, waving. And I was like, okay, this is the universe, I'm listening. Like, okay, I get it, that's a sign.
Yeah,
double prove, so yeah.
That was also a very undefined throat thing for you to say, that nobody sees me.
Yeah,
that's like the epitome of the open, undefined throat of what we feel we experience throughout our entire life. And it's really just perception, and it's really just taking like life too seriously sometimes, and personally.
Right.
I've been
I'm constantly reminding me that like all these people here have all their own lives. Like, who knows what happened before they came into this situation, like that's how I always feel, because I can feel everyone. Like, there's this one place on our walk where we go where it's like I walk up and it's just like I feel all the people. It's like this outside dining place, and it's like I can feel everyone's energy when I walk in there. It is such a trip. Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I can only imagine what it's like to be feelings cognition.
It's wild. I feel everyone.
That's another level that
it is. So what happened to you, Leah? Do you have any thoughts? Did anything come up?
I had a pretty relaxing weekend. I do feel like after starting my new Instagram, it was like, it felt kind of the same, like this weight was just kind of lifted, and like I don't have to go in, like I still go in there and see if anyone has messaged me or whatever, but it just feels like a new space that I can just kind of like share things, and I don't feel like the leftover of like my past 6 or 7 years of life are like attached to me anymore. And like I learned so much and I grew so much, and I have a lot of tools and a lot of things that I have in my life now. And I appreciate everything that I did, which obviously like I'm thankful for that life, that chapter of my life, but it does feel like this was the right thing to do. And as much as I like couldn't make up my mind over it, I'm really happy that I did finally make that decision, because it just feels like really good. Today though, I went to a yoga class with my neighbor, and she invited me like kind of last minute. It was like yesterday, I think. And so we go and we're doing this, like I've had the shoulder impingement pain and I've had a cortisone shot, and I'm getting the pain back into my shoulder. And I'm like super frustrated because I'm like, I thought that would be it. Like I thought that was the final thing, but I was able to do the class. Like I can feel certain pain things coming back, like when I do certain moves or whatever, but I could do the class, which I was really happy. I did modify or whatever, but she said a quote, and I'm just going to have to like put this somewhere, either on my Instagram or somewhere else, but it's, I don't know if you've heard of this author. AJ is Diane Ackerman. They wrote A Natural History of the Senses. They wrote, oh gosh, what else? A whole bunch of other books. Anyway, she's an author, a poet. And so the yoga teacher like reads this whole like section from this book today, and it's literally everything about cognition.
Yes.
So like I'm taking this class and
I
like
love
there's
it.
all these like clearly like there were smell cognition, there were taste cognition because they're mouth breathers, like
Yeah.
there were a lot of deep inhales, a lot of, you know, yoga in itself, like it's just cleansing anyway. But she's like reading off this thing, my whole body is like having tingles. And I was just like, this, you know, this is right, you know, where I am right now, this is like what I'm supposed to be doing. So I was really glad that she invited me, and I think we're going to go again on Wednesday, but it was just really interesting that she did that quote. And at the end, I was like, I need to know who that author is so I can go find that book and get it and like highlight every page, because I'm sure it has a lot to do with it. So I don't know. That's pretty much all that happened for me. I wasn't really online this weekend, which also felt really good because I just allowed myself to like, I did share some stories and stuff on my new page, but it wasn't like forced. So I do feel like it was the correct time to do that, to create the new page and to do all of that. So that's really all I have.
Definitely appear, if I can speak from an outsider's perspective, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to be invited to share as an open throat. You seem more free. Like you seem like you just don't care what other people are going to think or say. And it's just like, you're simply sharing your truth. And I feel like this new moon for you, after we looked at your chart a little bit last week, that it's really about your identity. It was really,
you're way more confident. You're like,
it helped. It really helped me like take away, because for such a long time, I have been in the network marketing industry. So like I was taught how to do things. I was taught how to post. I was taught how to talk. I was taught from a manifester and from, you know, like just like a general like marketing standpoint, like this is what you have to do. These are the boxes you have to check to be successful, to get recognition, to check, you know, to move up, to make money, to do this, to do that. None of that's correct for a projector. Like, unless you are doing it in a way that is correct for you, unless you already know this is all I have to do to be correct in what I want to do. And it took me a long time to figure that out, which is fine. I mean, it shouldn't have gone any faster or any slower. But I do feel like that was it. Like that was the final, like the letting go. Like I lily padded enough on that Instagram account that I needed to just kind of shift over. So yeah, it feels good. Definitely.
Well, this new moon was all about shedding old layers through touching the South Node.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when the nodes changed into the Gemini Sagittarius, that is when I left hair and makeup and I started my journey through human design business, like about 2 months after. It was crazy. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. I didn't even realize what I was doing. And that's why like we're literally following the transits, even if we don't realize we're doing it. And a lot of times, like I'll have amnesia about transits too. Like I'll talk about this, and after we do this, I forget throughout the week. And then I'm like, wait a second, what's happening? And then I'll go look and I'll be like, oh yeah. Or I'll have like just points of reference, but like I don't remember everything all the time, because how could you? And I
don't remember stuff I channel.
Yeah. And
I don't usually go listen to it again either, because it's weird sometimes.
Yeah.
It's weird to hear your own voice.
Hear your own voice.
Bad enough I have to edit it.
I know, right?
I listen to it for like over and over for how long? I'm like, I'm gonna.
Yeah. And I realized that, or I noticed that my audio was messed up from Clubhouse, and then we got it pointed out to us. And I don't know. I asked Dave if he could like adjust my mic for this one to see if it was any better, but it actually was from my old phone. So hopefully now that I have my new phone, when we go on because Clubhouse is only from the phone. So hopefully that audio will change. But I did ask, I don't know if he actually did anything, but I said, can you mess with my audio?
He was like,
I don't know what he did. It's probably the same, guys. You guys tell me, is this the same? Do I sound the same from last week's transit update? I don't know. Not from the new moon. That's a different audio, but from the transit updates, because there's not a lot of like insulation in this room. I'm going to have to figure this out.
Yeah, the echo is tough sometimes in a big room.
Yeah, it's not that big of a room, but there's just not like, I have one tiny carpet.
Can you
And-
put yourself one side against the wall, like how I am?
That's
How
really
I'm in a
good.
corner like this. It
Yeah.
makes it like,
That's really.
Can you
Kate,
put like 2
easy
pillows
for you
right
to
here?
do.
yeah.
Pillow-
Can you build yourself a fort?
Build a fort.
and just like crawl into it during these times
Hey, could you just get under your bed?
with the mice?
Yeah. Oh,
mice.
that's such a good idea.
Do
Oh.
it.
There's not a lot of room under there.
Well, but I think it would be really good for acoustics. But I mean,
It's true.
just brainstorming, just trying
Or
to help.
just like
trying
sit
to
in
help.
a closet.
Yeah, people do that all the time.
Should I do that? I guess
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
If anyone listening that is good with audio and you have ideas for me, like I'm 100.
Do you know what's a really good place to do it is outside when it's a snowstorm.
What?
I'm just kidding.
You don't usually crack
She's
too many
from
jokes,
Florida.
Ian,
She
so
might
I was
believe
like,
you.
what?
That's a main trick.
It is a main trick. It actually gets really quiet when it snows, so it's not really
does.
false, but I would
That's
never
true.
like do an actual podcast. I did record,
Oh.
so I have 2 funny stories on my old podcast. I did one sitting outside. I was sitting in the snow. It wasn't actually snowing, but I was sitting outside and I was just sitting by the chicken
It wasn't
coop
actively snowing.
with my phone, like doing my podcast recording. And I've also done a full one where I had headphones on and I did a Facebook Live. And I thought I was recording through the headphones, but they weren't plugged in. So I have this entire video of me sitting with these headphones on and I wasn't actually speaking into the headphones.
So cool.
Yeah,
That's the coolest thing I've heard.
that's something that I would honestly
win.
do. I would do
I
it.
feel like,
Right.
I feel like I just have to laugh at myself right now. Otherwise I'll be crying on the floor.
Yeah.
I said that to somebody
Today.
Oh.
yeah, earlier today, just because we're going through such a shift right now. I was honestly just speaking generally. I was like, if we're not laughing right now, then we're crying. Like and I'm like, maybe we need to do a little bit of both right now. Maybe there has to be a little bit of laughter with a little bit of tears.
I just want to eat.
It's
Can I
just
just eat my
emotions coming out.
feelings?
You want to eat your feelings.
Mm-hmm. I made cookies, Christmas cookies, and
Oh, here we go. Here we go with the sugar again. Like,
Freaking-
but it's
The cookies.
it's maple syrup. I'm downgrading. I can't just cut it
downgrade.
out. Like I have to like wean myself off. It's maple syrup. I mean,
So I'm supposed to do a cookie swap tomorrow and I'm supposed to make 5 dozen cookies. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make these cranberry bliss. You know, Starbucks has cranberry bliss bars right now. They're like a seasonal. They're so full of sugar. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to make these cookies. I'm going to make them in cookie form. So I go on Pinterest, Pinterest, because,
Yeah.
they're like the best
that's
of
where
all the
you get
places.
recipes. Yeah.
Yeah. I get a
So
lot
I
of-
go on there and I find one person who has cranberry bliss cookies. So I get all the ingredients and I start making them today and they're so flat. There's not even like a cookie. It's like the flattest cookie in all the land. So I'm making these cookies. I'm like, what is going on? So I have to make them 1 batch at a time because I didn't want to do like all 5. I don't have a big enough bowl for 5 batches of cookies. And so I get through one and I'm like, okay, something's wrong with these cookies. So I put another one in the oven. Okay, something's still wrong with these cookies. So I refrigerate half of them and then I bake them and they still came out flat. So then I hand mixed the 3rd batch, put them in the fridge for another 2 hours, the batter, and then I put them in the oven that came out flat. The last batch, the last 5 cookies on the sheet came out the way that the picture says. I was so mad. Everyone was laughing at me so hard. My husband was like, you need to leave this kitchen because your bad energy is going into these cookies. And I was like, you know what? You are right.
Well, did they?
Oh.
Okay. So presentation wise, aesthetics not so good. But
They're hideous.
how did they taste?
They taste really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's what I'm about.
So just tell people to close
I
their
like
eyes.
flat cookies.
Just close
I
your
mean,
eyes.
I did a poll on my Leah Instagram, and like 10 people said they like flat cookies. So I guess whatever.
Okay,
They didn't come out like the picture.
Are they
She's like the
crunchy?
fluffiest cookies that you'll ever make.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
like
these are-
crunchy cookies
I
either.
love crunchy.
You
cookies.
love crunchy? No, my
Mm.
mother-in-law makes crunchy cookies, and I thought like I thought she was just like
Is she
burning
Italian?
them. No, I
Oh,
thought she
I
was
thought
just
she was burning them.
They
Oh, I
were-
also burned 3 dozen cookies, so that was
Oh,
fun.
cool. But I like soft,
scrape.
fluffy
Did you scrape
cookies.
them?
Yeah, they went straight to the
No,
trash.
you only like soft cookies.
Soft, fluffy cookies. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, like Chips
Like,
Ahoy,
like pillowy,
like
like
the soft Chips Ahoy
Like-
cookies.
Yeah. What were those one soft bake?
yeah.
Like cookies.
I would prefer something
Oh,
like that.
who made the cookies that were in like it's like a 2-pack and they're like this big, and they used to be in like vending machines. It's not Marie Callender, but it's like somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know. but
Grandma's
have you ever had
finest.
Nordstrom Cafe chocolate chip cookies?
No.
They're like
I
this
don't
big.
know. Maybe.
So
Like
that's
maybe-
a sure way to gain like 30 pounds. Work near
Yeah.
those.
6
I
pounds of
worked
sugar.
at Cold Stone in
Oh.
college for a little bit, and that was not helping me in any way with my weight. And that was when I was really in a struggle mindset with that.
Yeah.
So it was just
Yeah.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Dunkin'
Each of-
Donuts, dude. I worked there.
Oh God, yeah.
That was rough. You get to take a dozen home every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
every
well, the
night.
same thing with Cold Stone. You could take a pint home at night.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You start rejecting it. No.
You
Oh.
have to. You get so sick of it. I never wanted to eat
Yeah.
donuts forever. Like now that's like if I eat a
Yeah.
donut, that's like me smoking crack. Please intervene.
I worked at a Subway in high school for 4 years, and I definitely will not eat Subway ever again.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Yeah.
Smell of that bread. I can't hang. That doesn't smell like something you're eating. Let me tell you.
Okay, I'm just gonna ruin Subway for
Oh,
everyone.
ruin
it.
Ruin it. Yes.
They're like, am I telling bad secrets? Is Subway gonna attack me? Don't tell anyone. They're like frozen. They like this big, the actual pieces of bread, and then you stick them in like the little slots, and then you have to thaw them out, and they proof, and then you slice them, and then you bake them. So they're all, everything is frozen. Everything, literally
Oh,
everything
yeah,
from Subway
I
is
figured
frozen.
Yeah.
that. Is that a secret?
I
I
figured
don't know
that
if it's
too.
a secret.
I figured that. I mean, that's better than
I
I
think
thought.
most things are frozen. I worked at Panera.
I thought it
Bread
was
for
like a
little
lab
bit.
back there. You were just like
Yeah,
throwing
I thought you were
into
gonna
goop.
say you're like spraying like this like aerosol of like bread or something.
Bread
A
goo.
spray bread.
Spray
bread.
bread.
Bread scent. It's a candle.
It's just a kid.
Bread scented goo spray. Oh, that sounds amazing. They should hire us for marketing.
I actually am really well. Leah is too. Do you have the 26? What do you have? No, AJ. Do you have?
Me? I have 26, don't I?
I think
I
you
don't know.
have one of the hanging gates of the entrepreneur. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 26, right? Am I correct?
I believe so. I'm looking.
I just like memorize people's charts.
I know it's good because like I can't remember my own somehow.
I'm like, do you have? I'm always like, Leah, do you have?
I
Do
just
you have go
yeah,
fish?
26. I do. It's unconscious.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. And actually, that is what is going to be coming into the sun midweek. So it's your time to shine, AJ.
That's
is your
perfect
time.
because I have the most amazing 3-day experience ready to help everyone through this solstice portal because there's going to be a huge download coming. So I
Mhm.
created a ritual to help everybody process the information that's coming in.
Well, that is actually perfect
Amazing.
from the in between of what
See how we live?
the 5 has been offering us, which is about routines and rituals, right? And rhythms and moving. And then we're going to be moving towards how to authentically sell from that place.
Perfect.
So you're right on, you're right in alignment. Isn't that nice
Yeah.
to get that
I love it.
confirmation?
Mm-hmm.
Before we jump in though, I did realize I wrote down a little affirmation for myself because I asked for an affirmation or like a mantra to say to myself when I'm like out of alignment, when I opened up the record. So I wanted to share it. It's very short. All it says is allow, forgive, and grow. When you can allow and be in the stillness, they said that I can then forgive like almost myself for the times that I've like abandoned myself or that I've judged myself. And I said judgment. And then through that place of forgiveness and seeing the judgment as nothing more than just like an illusion, that I can then grow and create expansion. So I just wanted to give that for other people that might need that right now. Allow, forgive, and grow. That's all you got to say.
Love that.
Love it.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Let's jump in. I'm ready to talk about this week. Okay, so I do want to preface that if you're like, you know what, because we've been getting a lot of like feedback that people really enjoy the transits. So that if you do enjoy the transits on Genetic Matrix, you don't actually have to pay for anything. You can just literally go to the homepage of their website and they have on there what's happening in the transits right now every day. You can just go every day and just look at what's going on in the transits. You don't actually have to buy anything. I just wanted to say that, and that's geneticmatrix.com. So I wanted to start off with that, and let me go through what I wrote. Excuse me, I had a little burp there for a second. I don't know if you guys heard me. I tried to be really quiet.
You were ladylike. That was delicate. That was a delicate little burp. I don't think I've ever burped that quiet ever in my life. I tried the hardest and I was like in church, I'm going to get in big trouble.
It like makes your eyes water.
Yeah. I don't know how to do that.
I was like, let me silence myself.
Like a little giggle. Sounded like a giggle.
There's a lot of laughter today and giggly burps. Okay. So this week kicks off with the energy of what the new moon brought to us, which we've been taking a look at. What is our natural consistency? What is our own rhythm? That's really what this new moon cycle was about. And a lot of new moons, especially because this was a solar eclipse, this is going to go through the next 6 months. People have said that sometimes it could be even 2 to 2.5 years that you're still experiencing energy through the solar eclipse or eclipses in general. So over the weekend, I have a question. Did you create, discover, or ponder on new routines and rituals? I spoke about in my stories on Friday that this energy from the eclipse is really allowing us to get clear on where our future self can go to. We're about to enter the shadow of Venus retrograde. And we have a few more days before that happens where we can really get clear now that Neptune has gone direct on confusion, illusion, and delusion that we have been under through the retrograde cycle. And it's helping us right now get clear on what we really want out of life. So what intentions do we want to create and set forth for this coming new year as we close 2021? Before we enter Venus retrograde, which will happen on the 19th of December through January 29th. And for some reason, I thought it was longer. So I apologize. I really thought it was longer. I'm going to correct myself right now and say this will be roughly about 6 weeks of review on our self-worth, past relationships. A lot of times during a Venus retrograde, old flames and even friends might come knocking at your door. So just prepare yourselves. And I'll go into more detail when that cycle starts, but I am a line 1 and I always like to prepare you guys for what's to come. So a lot has come up for each of us through this new moon solar eclipse. And right now, today on Monday night, as we are recording this, we are being offered this opportunity to connect with other individuals and sharing our story of experience. What has been expanding your being that you wish to share with others this week? So for the beginning of this week, how can you move in a more aligned way that feels safe, secure, and maybe with a little bit of fear of newness, but not resistance? There's a difference between fear of the unknown and resistance to what is not correct for you. So allow yourself to sit with that for a moment and feel into what's the difference for you, because there's times that we're resistant on change, right? Which that means that maybe we just need to walk through that. Or are we resistant because it's actually incorrect for us? There's a huge difference there. So your communication this week will be on sharing authentically from the heart. That's what's going to start off this week. So allow those experiences and new routines to guide you towards communicating about sharing yourself from the heart. How can you share with integrity this week? That is going to be a huge thing, because once we start talking about that, it's actually going to become our focus. It's like once you start communicating, that's what happens. We have Mercury starts off with a lot of places that then it ends up in the sun, so that we can focus on it. That's how the transits work. So how can you share with integrity this week? And midweek, this communication, like I just said, this communication style of almost selling your truth, your worth, your authenticity will become a focus. How can we share authentically our resources with our community? Which I'm excited for what you're putting out, AJ, because this is like the perfect time. I'm so glad we talked about this before, because I'm like, wow, I wrote about this already. So, and we're being grounded in a place of truth. Can we share and sell with integrity that will then allow us to materialize our resources? Can we speak from a place of communion and synergy? We will also have a brief emotional experience on Wednesday for Leah. So I will
Perfect.
let you go through that. It's just for Leah because she gets to go through it. It's in her. She has the 19. We're going to be connecting through the 19 and the 49, which is really about pressurizing, and also another way of sharing. I really believe that channel is about, how do I say? I just lost every words that were in my, like literally just like, it just like fell right out of my head. But I feel like that emotional wave is really about pressuring ourselves to like be the humanitarian, to like be that inner humanitarian, and sharing, like almost like in a way that is going to like expand the community, expand the collective. And the theme of this will be giving and sharing with your authentic voice. There's a huge connection this week between your voice, your throat, and your heart. So, and on Sunday, we will begin to feel and become curious on aligning to our love of life and self and harnessing our internal power to get there. Let's talk about for a moment, like what I want to try a little bit of a new thing where I explain what's defined in the body graph during each week, just briefly, and then I'll pass it over to you, AJ. So we've had consistently the ajna and the head defined. So there's a lot of mental pressure right now. There's been a lot of mental pressure going on having like breakthroughs, pressuring our almost like our head and our mind to make sense of things right now. And then we also have the throat and the sacral, that's been defined as well consistently. And there's this sense of like busyness that's been running through all of us and creating. There's a lot of creation. We're all acting, like I said, I've been saying, like as manifesting generators. So those are the two key players that have been in the transits for a while. And then we also have the G center that's going to show up defined this week. So for anyone that has an open or undefined G center, you're going to be going through an experience of where am I going in life? Who am I? And your love of self. And then we also have a brief period of the solar plexus defined. So for all my open non-emotionals out there, it'll be a brief one because it's really happening from the moon. So when things transit through the moon, they go relatively quickly. So it'll just be you might feel, I believe it's happening in the evening on Wednesday, a brief period of an emotional charge. It's like, but it's very altruistic. It's also very, there's a lot of bargaining that happens there. So just noodle on all this stuff. But again, in closing, this is really about selling from your heart and speaking from your truth this week. So find more ways to do that. And we also, if you want to learn more about the centers, as I just discussed, I believe it's episode 18 that has our centers. It's called the Inner Voices. And it's really good to look at what are you open in, especially because that's where you're really taking in other people's energy and also the transit energy. Where are you open when you're looking at these transits, so that you can see when you're experiencing them, because it's all going to be mental. Anything that's happening in the transits are all mental, coming from the mind, and it's the mind trying to convince you that you're this right now. And it's really about allowing yourself to ride the wave of that transit and to like almost like capture it in its highest essence, so you can ride it and like you utilize it instead of trying to become it. How can you see it without being it? Should be a question as you go through each week and you learn more about these experiences that we're all living as a collective. So that is all I have for today, and I will pass it over to you, AJ.
Well, that was very informative and awesome, and I liked how you went through the centers and talked about that. That was really cool. I like that.
I want to try.
Yeah, I feel like this week is so much about community too, and the moon is waxing, and so our energy is growing and building. And we've got the moon in Aquarius, which is such a communal energy, and it's so nice because it's like it feels like it's drawing us all closer to each other. Like I feel like for the last almost 2 years now, it's like we've all been so separated, and I feel like we are being called back together, and I feel like we're being called towards people whose energy really resonates with our own. And so just be on the lookout for these people. They're going to be what I like to call like shiny people. Like we notice them. They look interesting, the way they move, like just something about them. Like they just look bright. They look interesting. Like you feel called to talk to them. Connect with those people, like put yourself in situations that's going to allow you to meet new people. I feel like it's a really important time for us all to gather our energies together. And even if it's not in person, even if you're not comfortable with gathering with people in person, finding people online that resonate and inspire you and encourage you and support you in all these ways that we need assistance, especially when we're going through huge shifts and changes. It's so nice to have a community around you of people who believe the same things that you believe. I just find that with support, we're able to take huge leaps and grow so quickly when we have that support around us. And so just look at the community that you have and appreciate that. Have gratitude for the people that you do have in your life, and then hold space for new people coming in, and just having gratitude for what you have already is just going to draw more of that to you. So just remember that this week as we move forward. And when the moon goes into Pisces, I always feel like my sensitivities are heightened. Like I feel like my senses are able to pick up things that normally may go unnoticed. And so I just invite you to keep a journal nearby, because it just feels like download city lately. Like just download after download after download, like just so much information coming in. And I feel like you're gonna want to write this down. So just keep a journal nearby this week. And then when we move into Aries on the weekend, with the moon growing bigger and larger and our energies matching that, we're going to be able to take action. And so I feel like journaling and going within and asking yourself what resonates and what doesn't, and what you can do to put your energy into your intentions that you set at new moon, so that you can start actively manifesting some of those things into your life. The energy is there to support you. So doing the work and doing the shadow work, doing the inner work, doing the hard work, doing the work, whatever you want to call it, but that's what we need to be doing this week if we want to be available for the huge leaps forward in growth that this situation holds space for us. So that's what I got for this week. And just love yourself. That was another thing. Just love yourself up, nourish yourself, eat all the food that you feel like your body is craving. Find the medicine and give it to yourself. Allow yourself to enjoy your life and the experiences that are coming up for you, and just really allow yourself to like receive the energy and the nurturing and all the goodness. So now I'm really done. What do you got, Leah?
I have been taking notes as we do these because like I don't, it's just, I don't know. I'm still learning all of the things. So I feel like, I talked about this in my stories a little bit, but it helps me when I hear it to write it down on paper because it just makes sense. And I've put it like in my calendar.
Touch.
Yeah, touch too. So like it
Write it
goes
down.
from my brain onto the paper or from the paper back into my brain. I don't know what happens, but it allows me to like kind of, and also because my right brain, I have a hard time sitting here focusing.
You need
So
to
it
do
like
other
makes
things.
me,
Right brain has to be doing other things when they're learning. It's like
Yeah.
and like I used to get actually really annoyed at you guys, not you guys personally. I just want to preface that, just right brains in general.
I was like, oh, you annoy
yeah, you guys. Okay, let me pull out my list right now.
Okay, get your list out.
No, just
stop.
no. I do want to say, and then I'm sorry, Lee, I didn't mean to take the mic from you, but since you brought it up, I'm just like, I feel like this might help some people for some reason. But as left brain, like I literally can't, like if you watch me, like I feel like AJ, sometimes you're doing some other stuff or like looking around, but you're actually still listening. But to me, it looks like you're not actually paying attention. And then Leah's always writing or like moving stuff around on her desk or whatever. And I'm always like over here, like just
you're like this.
Here. I'm like this. I'm like, can I get into the computer? Like, how do I get inside, guys? Because that's what left brain does. Like we literally lean into things when we're interested or we're focused. We have to actually like get closer. But for you guys, you actually have to like kind of like almost pull back because it's really about receiving and receptive, right? It needs to be a little bit further back. And then it also, you need to be doing stuff. Your mind needs to be working. And I'm sorry, not your mind, your brain needs to be working so that you can actually be able to be open enough to receive what's entering your system. But to me, I would get annoyed when I would see people doing this because that's not me, right? I'm over here like a selfish mofo that's like everybody is doing it wrong, no one's listening or paying attention to me, open throat. It's all about perception, right? And perspective. So I'm over here my whole life being surrounded by all these right brain people and like thinking, and also right mind. It's a little bit different when it's in between your mind and your brain, but there is like a similarity of that receptive energy. And I'm over here thinking that no one's paying attention to me when actually you guys are paying attention.
Yeah.
Jokes on me.
Joke's on you. I've got all my notes.
I just wanted to share that for anyone because I feel like that's where a huge struggle is with humanity, is between left and right with our communication.
It does make sense. Yeah.
So I
have to keep, I don't have an attention span. Like it's like literally like a newborn baby sized.
Like you could be mid conversation with somebody and then you're like it sounds like you're listening, but they're like talking and you're like,
oh,
I'm thinking about 12 other things right now.
Well, when you come back and they're like, yeah, right. What do you think? I'm like,
Shoot.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
So like I'm always like
But you
shifting
actually
or
did
like
hear it
moving my
though.
feet.
You
So
didn't
I
even
have
realize.
sometimes
Yeah.
that's why I have to do things to stay in the moment so
Right.
that I
Yeah.
can hear it,
It is
or
about
else
in the
I'm
moment.
gone.
I don't get
For
sidetracked.
right brain, it's about being present.
I'll be
If
gone.
you
Yeah.
if you constantly be telling you guys, how can I just be more present right now?
Yeah.
That'll put you back into that space. So for right brain, it's about saying, how can I be more present? And then for left brain, it's about saying, how can I be more focused? And if
Yeah,
you
that makes
just
sense.
come from that place, you'll
Yeah.
go back, you'll come back into alignment.
Yeah.
Mini class on the brain. If you want more,
Yes.
they're actually still on sale through the 20th.
Yeah.
Can I plug? Can I 4426 right now? They're
Yeah.
on sale.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Our cognition and determination class are on sale through the 25th. You can still get it at that price. It will be going up after that day. So just so everybody's aware, because I know a lot of people are like, I want it or whatever. And I'm sure there's a lot of emotionals out there that need to like take their time on deciding. No pressure at all. But I just wanted to say it that it's still on sale. It has not stopped. And you got a little bit more time to wait on it and decide.
Yeah, you got some time. Not a lot of time. A little bit of time.
Just get on it.
Just buy it.
Just do it.
It's
Just
worth
do
it.
it.
It's a go.
Worth it. So what do
Okay,
you
so
what do we got
Yes,
in
the
the card?
Hi, friends. I am quickly interrupting this captivating episode to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Anchor. Anchor is an app that makes it extremely easy to create a podcast, and the bonus is that it's completely free. This is an app that Leah and I have been using to create the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. They have creation tools to help make this process even easier, which for myself, who is not technology savvy at all, has been pretty easy to navigate. They helped you record and edit your podcast straight from your phone or computer. The easiest part for us is we don't have to do any major legwork. They will distribute this podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many other apps that stream this podcast. If you have ever thought about creating a podcast but don't think you have the experience or professional equipment to make this happen, we are telling you to look no further and go ahead right now and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Looking forward to hearing what you create.
I pulled the Seven of Pentacles, and this is actually, the person is in a garden, and it kind of looks like giant grape leaves, and I can kind of picture the pentacles as being like the bundles of grapes or whatever it is, like the fruit that is after you've worked on, like think of like the new moon, you set your intention, you plant the seed, and then you work on all of those things, you put in all of the work, you show up and you make time, you set aside time to work on those intentions. And this card is really like the end of that. So the end of that cycle is, you're seeing the fruits of your labor, you're seeing all of the work that you've put in, and you're just able to take this time to recognize yourself for the hard work that you've put in, and not really doubting your abilities, like having you can be confident in yourself that like, I made this, like whatever it is that you're building, whatever it is that you're working on, like you're going to see potential success. And as you put more work into that and you are doing aligned action, that makes that, come out in the long run. So that's a pretty simple card.
I like it.
I like it too. I feel like that it's all
card.
that self-recognition too. I think that's really important. Like I learned that for myself before I knew like projector self. I was like, I need to recognize myself too, because I don't recognize myself for the efforts that I put into a lot of things. And I still don't enough.
I'll do it for you.
Hence my cookie fiasco today, which I'm like, this is ruined. Everything is wrong. And everyone was like, these are actually really good cookies. I'm like, but they don't look good. So therefore they are not good enough, but really they're
About the inner beauty, Leah. Okay.
I know.
Inner beauty. And if it tastes good and you feel good when you're eating it, that's all that matters.
I hope no one feels my
Your
bitterness,
feelings taste good attached.
I was
to
a little
them,
mad at this. Yeah. I was a little mad at those cookies.
You need to take your hands and like
give those cookies
like,
some Reiki.
yeah, give them some Reiki.
These cookies are infused with Reiki.
I mean, I'm sure you could charge more too.
They're $12.99. Well, it's a cookie
Put
swap.
crystals
so.
on the package.
You
You could like make it bougie.
Oh, here comes the
cookies.
26.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's me, man. I am like the best. I am so good at retail. When we used to make commissions at the spa for selling product, I was always
I was always top two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at it.
Mm-hmm. I can sell ice to an
Other people's stuff. But my own stuff, I'm getting better at that.
It is
Right.
definitely harder to
It's
sell your
different.
own stuff because it's personal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
working on that transferred personal for
Well,
myself.
Speaking of, I got another card, which I pulled from the Soul's Journey lesson cards. It's called Growth. And the affirmation is, I want to expand my consciousness and awareness. You are constantly being presented with situations that enable you to develop your inner wisdom and assist you in advancing to higher levels of understanding. The lesson is to be aware of these events and recognize them for what they are. To live a mindful life is not about respecting and honoring those around you. It's also about recognizing every person and circumstance in your path as a teacher. The constant chatter and diversions of life on earth can distract you from the signposts that Spirit has left in your path. Take the time to be aware of the bountiful wisdom that has been laid before you and acknowledge these gifts and take them to heart as you continue your soul journey on this dimension, on this physical dimension. Don't look for the opportunities that you think you need. Instead, be receptive to the opportunities that are given.
That was a very generator card.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. That was like just
that was like respond. Yeah.
Open to receiving this experience and deciding if you want to actually respond or not.
Yeah.
Because it's telling you not to initiate. Like just don't. And like I feel like that's something that I've honestly been thinking about this last week when Neptune went direct, was just all the distraction that I put forth for myself for a while with stuff that wasn't real, like kind of what you were just talking about earlier, AJ. It's really about perception, and we distract ourselves as humans so much to convince ourselves of that we're not worthy enough, or that we're not good enough, or that we're not supposed to be here, we should be over there, or no one's looking at me, nobody wants anything to do with me, I'm gonna go jump off a cliff. Like all the things that you say to yourself.
Sad face.
Crying on the floor in the bathroom.
I've had many experiences of that. Yeah.
Rage writing in my journal.
Rage writing.
Eating my feelings.
Oh my God. I definitely was listening to like some hardcore yoga music before this. I'm like, I need something like
hardcore.
I don't know.
What is hardcore?
Not hardcore yoga. What was it
like?
It's not, it's it's just indie flow, but it was like, had like this like good tune to it. And I was just like, I needed to hear something.
Booty.
Yeah. Booty yoga. So yeah, after I put my kids to bed, which was a disaster and a train wreck in itself, I was like, I need to hear music, and then I need to sit here and I need to work on something that has nothing to do with thinking about anything else. So I might do that again after we get off of here and just
have some low sound moments.
Yeah.
Right.
Work it out. Be in it.
I know I need to do another. I like started doing a meditation before I wrote everything out, and then like I thought I heard a mouse because I'm still in deep paranoia. I'm like, I thought I was moving past it, and then all of a sudden, like in the middle of it, I'm like, is that the air conditioning? And I'm like, I can't do this right now. I gotta, no, it's not the right time. So I'm still working on stuff for the rest of my life.
I'm still working on stuff. Just like over there.
Well, I
Good
feel
though.
like
I mean,
this
kind
was
of a
I'm sorry.
process.
It is a process. Isn't
Yes,
life
it's a
just a
process.
process? That's a very
Yeah.
6-line thing to say. It's
Yeah, on repeat.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
on the universe's favorite playlist.
like, let's pull out this little tune and
One
let's-
hit wonder. Yeah.
we'll see if you'll grab the bait this time. What if
Yeah.
I just shine it up this turd up a little bit
Just
So
a little
that-
bit.
so
See,
that
it's
it
happening.
looks a little different to you, but actually it's the exact same thing that you felt for the last time that you were crying on the bathroom floor for. We're going to put it towards you now, but in a new way. This is an
So you
improved
can't
way,
recognize the trigger. Yes.
Mhm.
but it's
Trigger
the same
evaders.
thing.
See what
So
happens.
see if you can spot it. Where's your cognition at? Huh? Anybody?
Right?
Are you feeling it into it? Are you smelling into it? Are you tasting into it? Are you touching into it? Are you seeing into it? If you're not allowing your body to guide you, you'll never actually be correct.
Mic drop.
Truth.
It's
Okay, bye, folks. And that's it.
yeah, that's
That's
it.
it.
Okay,
Show's
we're
over.
done. Okay, show's
That's the
over.
end.
I'm gonna literally hit the stop button now. Okay, bye. Have a great week, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Krystle and I are really here as defined hearts to provide value to you with our unique insights. If you have found any of this episode valuable to you, we ask that you share with a friend, tag us with a highlight on Instagram, and write us a review so we can reach more people. Human design and astrology are tools to guide us toward our transformation. You are a unique and beautiful being, and we encourage you to let that light inside of you shine bright. See you in the next episode, friends.